Fire for your mind. The kosher clinician. I've said it in the past that a hopeless man is a broken man, and a broken man is really a dangerous man. And that sentiment actually goes to women as well. Displaced aggression is an ego defense mechanism, or more or less something that's actually used when people are actually going through a state of pain or disrepair. And so when I listen to this woman by the name of Soncerae, she's very known in YouTube. Her story is very perplexing, to say the least. But it appears that this woman is more or less going through what I call a schema affliction. A schema is a term used in cognitive behavior therapy to more or less deal with the challenges of the pathologies that a person might have in their head. But an affliction is actually due to pain. And when you combine the two, you have something that I call chaos. Listen, mental health is a serious crisis in the Black community. And many times it's been stigmatized because people fail to do what I call shallow work. Shallow work is actually looking at those unconscious things about your past that you haven't necessarily explored to get the proper outcomes that you so desire in order to become successful. And a lot of times women like Soncerae actually is more or less dealing with the pain of dealing with unsavory men that really didn't have her best interest. But a lot of times women like her tend to over magnify the problem and to more or less place all that anger and pain on other men that had nothing to do with it. And listen, men and women both are culpable in this. But I want you guys to listen to what this young lady is saying, because it sounds like to me that she comes off as having a vendetta against YouTuber Kevin Samuels, but also she is more or less dealing with things that a lot of times, if she would do the internal work, she will find the proper healing. So I want you to listen to this, because her terminology sounds not only misandric, but also it sounds like that she is also displacing her aggression towards many men. I want you to listen.
An app, it's called Hinge, right? And every time they send me a match, it's always a guy that's not Black. And when I do see a guy that's Black, I already know that it's going to go wrong. I can reassure you that it's going to go wrong early, right? I just already know that it is. So yesterday, me and this guy was talking, and he asked me, he was Black, he asked me for my phone number or my Instagram. And I said, if I give you my Instagram and you see what's on my Instagram, you're probably gonna run. My Instagram isn't hideous or anything, but because I'm an entrepreneur and I'm like very goal oriented and motivated, that scares a lot of men off. You would be surprised. They're like, oh, no.
No, sweetie, it's not because you're goal oriented. That's not necessarily what scared men off. What scared men off is actually your attitude. If you were goal oriented and you were the type of woman that was building more or less, setting examples for yourself in the future, even if you had those type of accomplishments, if you were a feminine, kind woman that didn't more or less talk about your accomplishments, some men would gravitate to you minus your accomplishments. Now, listen, we know that there could be a percentage of men that are more or less turned away by successful women. But most men, if you are very successful, but you're very kind, you're very accommodating, and your whole essence of life is not what you've accomplished, then men are not intimidated by that. Men by nature are competitive, and we're builders. And when you come off as placing that above the relationship, it comes off being very masculine. Men are attracted to feminine women, not masculine women. And competition is a form of being masculine to many men. Not saying that a woman can't be competitive in some areas, but when you're directly competing against your man, that comes off as being masculine. Keep listening.
No, she'll be too much. Yes, I will be. And I suggest you go find less, because I ain't turning down no time soon. So I ended up giving it to him, and he goes and look.
And you can just tell from the energy, her energy is so cantankerous. Her energy is so masculine. It's almost like, there is no compromise. And so what masculine man want to deal with a toxic person like this? And that's what you see in society now. We live in a world where toxicity is so rampant in our community. Toxicity is very rampant in some of our women, but also some of our men, unfortunately. But because my show more or less caters to men, we're going to keep it on topic. You see a lot of toxic women like her. You can feel that toxic energy just from this woman talking. And you can tell that she's been broken due to some of the pain that she's experienced in the past. And as I said earlier, she's displaced some of her aggression towards men because of what she's went through in the past. I want guys to keep listening to this, because my heart goes out to men that have to deal with some of the toxic women that they have to more or less traverse in this current negative society called America. Keep listening.
Now, it's a lot of stuff on my Instagram. I talk about God, love, business, and wealth all of the time. Dude comes back onto Hinge. Guess what he brings up? Fucking Kevin Samuels. He was like, oh, I feel like some of the stuff that Kevin Samuels says is so powerful, and I agree with some of it, and then other stuff I don't agree with. Let me tell you, this conversation went left.
And that's the problem. That's really the problem. So many of our people are so ignorant to the truth. Listen, you don't have to agree with everything Kevin Samuels say 100% unequivocal. I don't agree 100% with no one. But when a person is actually telling the truth or more or less spitting out facts, then I got to qualify what that person is saying. We live in a society where many, not all, of our women come to the table not willing to compete, but also they come to the table with a very entitled mindset. And anytime they're called out on those negative behaviors, they use the typical shaming language. He's misandric, misogyny. His mom is black. He don't know how to get a good black woman. He don't know how to handle. And listen, to handle somebody is like handling a cow in a rodeo. No one has time to handle a woman. Men want women that can compliment them, because being a black man or any man in society is very taxing mentally. Keep listening.
Quick as hell, because I specifically said I am not a Kevin Samuels fan. Out of all of the stuff on my feed, why would you pick that one post if you trying to date me? Let me reassure you fellas, Kevin Samuels makes you look raggedy as hell. When you reach out to a woman and she is healthy mentally and confident and has a lot going for herself, she's gonna think you're out of your fucking mind for following anything that he has to say. Even if you feel like this man has made some valid points, I can reassure you that the misogyny and sexism attached to what he says is going to turn any woman off. I guess the conversation didn't go how he wanted it to, so he's like, I'm not going to talk about this. Well, what the fuck you bring it up for, bruh? Oh, now you don't want to talk about it. Okay.
And just look at it. Just look at it. Guys, look at this. When you travel abroad, you don't see this kind of toxicity. I mean, the energy and the anger. And see, this is a lot of what you're seeing in this show is unresolved mental health issues. A lot of it is unresolved. And see, the problem is so many American women or Western women have been told that, that they are perfect, that they are special. And because of that, many don't understand that they have issues too that they need to work on. Men and women both have issues to work on, but men understand that a lot of times no one comes to our rescue, so we have to figure out things on our own. And I promise you, this woman at some point in her life had the opportunity to get a solid man, but she chose swag over substance. And now she's dealing with the recompense of her error because she chose to choose swag over substance. And so, it's really unfortunate because I'm sure she was a good woman or had the potential to be a good woman at some point, but the energy from this woman is horribly toxic, man. And I recommend people, man, women like this, that are toxic, man, just stay away from them, man. Because like I said, you don't have to agree 100% with what Kevin Samuels is saying. But what the brother is saying a lot of times as it relates to modern women, a lot of things that he's saying is true. He might come off sometime a little harsh off every now and then, but he's actually gotten a little better with it, in my opinion, a little better. But overall, what the brother is saying is spot on with a lot of the things that I see with modern women. Keep listening.
See what's happening here? Deuces. Red flag. Don't hit me up again. Bye-bye. I can't be feminine around dudes like that. They're just so extra, man. I swear to God. I'm on this dating app.
And notice the foolishness that she said. She said that she can't be feminine around guys like that. A woman that's truly feminine at her core is going to be feminine at her core. You know, femininity is not something you can turn on and turn off. It's who you are as a person. But unfortunately, we live in very dysfunctional communities where the mothers don't teach the women how to be women, and the girls don't get the love and the adulation from their fathers that's actually necessary to help them become whole and competent people. And because of that, we have what's called a mental health crisis in America. But if you like the show, please like, share, subscribe to the Kosher Clinician. And if you're going through any type of schema afflictions or any types of pain, email me at kosherclinician@gmail.com. That's kosherclinician@gmail.com. And I want you to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 principles that a man must go through to become an optimized male. And from this segment of the show, female psychology and male mental health is actually paramount to the discussion. Be well.